Greetings everybody, Fu here with part 4 of Build Your Havoc Trooper. We're going to go ahead and look at the forearms. The tops of the forearms are different on this. The bottoms are the same, but the tops, the right forearm is going to have the flat panel with the square in the back, and the left forearm is going to have the raised section where we talked about putting electronics in. You're going to go ahead and trim your edge. Trim very carefully because there's a lot of detail work in here. So take off as little as possible. You're going to end up with this recess here where the plastic is very thin, and we're going to end up probably cutting that out and putting in a separate piece of ABS later. But this indent is part of the actual game resolutions, and you're going to see it on both sides. So here's half, and it meets up with the other half. But just due to the nature of vacuum forming, that's going to get real thin, and we'll just have to deal with it later. Now, for those of you that did the First Republic Commando, this is going to be the backpack of the Havoc Trooper. Because there's so much detail work and so many angles, you're going to trim the crap out of it. You're going to have to do a lot of post-production work where you're gluing and sculpting and filling in gaps. It's just, there's no way around it with this piece. So, plan on spending some extra time with that. That's one of the reasons I hit this first. I know the backpack was near the end of the last build, so we're going to go ahead and tackle the forearms first here. So, I picked a side. I just went with the top side, and I cut shims to where I could find places to actually glue them. So, you know, I've got shim here, a little one here, there's a ridge, so I've got a break, and then I've got another shim here. This section, like I said, we're going to end up cutting out and probably redoing with another piece of ABS, and we can do this little guy later. So I did the same thing on both sides, and then I'm going to take the heat gun, and I'm going to bend them in a little bit. And you can see on the left forearm, I've already done that, and we'll take a look at what we're dealing with so far from the first bit of gluing on it. So you want to get obviously the line to match up, and I've got a gap there. I've got glue coming up through it, and what we'll do is we'll sand down what little is there. We'll fill it in with DevCon more than we need, and then we'll sand it down again. You're going to have a break in the back here. Again, you're just going to fill it with glue, and then we're going to fill that cavity. We're going to actually cut out the back section here, add a piece of ABS in, glue it in, and we should be good. I trimmed out to give a little smoother edge, but you want to leave yourself about a 1/4 inch around the front and the back, because when you look at the actual game resolution, the armor does come down towards the arm. Plus, that'll give you a little plastic to hide any padding you need to put in there. You'll just have to sand the edge when you're done. So that's the first look at the forearm, and I've still got to glue the other side here, but we're going to do the same technique. I already took the heat gun here, and you can see that they're bent to match the inside. So I'm going to load up DevCon on these pieces, get it over, and on forearms and rounded pieces like this, clamps are good, but you may also need to take tape and wrap around the whole thing to keep compression on the whole piece, because the clamp is obviously just going to give it pressure in both directions, but we also need to have pressure going this way around it. So you know, feel free to, once you get it in position, quick wrap it around with some masking tape to hold everything, and then get your clamps on to give pressure between the shim and the piece it's holding on to. But those would be your forearms, and take your time, use lots of shims, and use lots of glue, because that's a high detail piece, and it's going to take some extra work. So that is the forearm, and we will see you in part 5 where we will look at the elbows.